This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's living green. On the next Live Green Tennessee, we visit DND Farm in Liberty, Tennessee. Next, we taste Dale's Fried Pies in Knoxville. And finally, we meet Brad and Tracy of Three Forks Cattle Company. All this and more coming up on the next Live Green Tennessee.
Pick Tennessee helps you find local farms and farmers markets, plus offers tips for choosing, using, and storing the fresh foods you buy. The Pick Tennessee mobile app is available now on iTunes and Google Play.
Radon gas is a naturally occurring radioactive gas found in rock and soil and can seep into your home through basements or cellars. It's odorless, invisible, and without taste, and can damage lung tissue and cause the beginning of lung cancer, making it the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. It's important to understand how you can protect yourself, and the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation can help you learn more about this dangerous gas and make your home a safer place.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
Hello, I'm Melinda Kiefer, and I'm proud to bring you stories from across our great state on Live Green, Tennessee. Thomas and Heather Theriak started D&D Farm when they moved to Liberty, Tennessee from Florida. With their 3 young children in tow, they made the move in order to grow their own food, live a better life, and to show their children where their food came from on their spring-fed 10-acre farm. WCTE's Jacob Carr takes us to this year-round farm.
So D&D Farm comes from my 3 children's name, Dalton, Nathaniel, and Danielle. If you ask the other 2, it could be Danielle, Nathaniel, and Dalton. It depends, who you ask. We formerly lived in Tampa, Florida. I was in the entertainment business. And just from over time of traveling, and we were ready to make a move. We scouted out Tennessee as where we wanted to go. And my wife came up and did a 3-week trip on looking for homes and properties for us. And we found this property here in Liberty, Tennessee. When we moved here, it was to raise it, eat it, and grow it to provide food for my family off the land. I hope one day the kids realize what we did for them, moving them from the big city to know where their food comes from and how to grow it and to raise it on their own. And I hope they take that with them. When we found this property, we were fortunate enough to have a spring on the property where we get our water from and where we water the plants from and where we water the source for the animals. Comes right out of the ground into a 350-gallon holding tank and then runs into our house. So we're fortunate that that's our big prized possession on the property is the spring, to get that natural source of water to our family. There's no chemicals coming from the water, or there's no chemicals being added into the water. It's just water coming out of the ground that's filtered by sand and rocks and dirt, that goes into our holding tank. We're all natural. I don't put any chemicals on any of the produce that I grow. I'd much rather rip it up and start over than put a chemical on it, because my family's eating it, and that's the whole point of it, to raise it and grow it, is to know where the food comes from. So I don't put any chemicals on any of my plants or produce. I also sell it to restaurants, and we sell to a market up in the Sparta area. So this property is almost 10 acres, and we're fortunate to be surrounded by thousands of acres. So our meat source we get here on the property with deer. When deer season comes up and turkey season, we hunt the turkey and the deer on the property, and we also raise our chickens. So most of it we try to raise it and grow it ourselves, but if we don't, one friend raises beef, so we get our beef from there, and then another friend does raise turkeys, so sometimes we'll get our turkeys from him if we don't have any luck hunting on the property. But we've been fortunate on the property, and also with our friends that also hunt, that help us to fill our freezer for the winter. We also do bees for honey. I used to get real bad allergies when it was hay cutting time, so we started using honey for ourselves, and last year we added bees to the property, so we have a good time with the bees, watching them build the comb and providing us with honey for my family and for the local people as well. We sell our honey to the locals as well as our produce. So when you bring the bees in, part of the bees is getting stung, but sooner or later the bees will actually get to know you where you don't get stung. And I'd just go over there in my flip-flops and shorts on some days and go over there, and we'll open the hive and look in there and watch the bees. But of course it's always important to wear eye protection, because the last thing you would want is to get stung in your eye or on your face. But the bees are pretty interesting, and it's a fun thing, and you can't beat honey as a local source. My wife uses it in bacon, I use it in my coffee, we use it in whatever we might use to make or a recipe. So I would recommend that everybody grows something. You don't have to do gardening on this size of a scale. You can do, you can garden in a raised box. You can garden in cement blocks and start there. And it's an amazing thing to walk out on your porch or in your yard and pick a tomato or a squash and then, cook it and eat it. There's something to say about that. And it's a great feeling. The kids, it was the same thing for the kids raising the chickens. When we got those, I told them to don't name the chickens, because sooner or later they're going to be on your plate. So now they know, and they name all the chickens dinner. So they know as well, where their food comes from, and getting up in the morning and doing chores before they eat, before they, eat breakfast. There's things they need to do before that. You can find DND Farms in Liberty, Tennessee, and also on Facebook. You can feel free to add us, or you can visit us at www.dndfarmtn.com.
Dale's Fried Pies started when Dale Mackey began making fried pies for her friends and family in Knoxville. Encouraged by their positive responses, she built a mobile pie stand from which she serves her pies at local farmers markets, fairs, and festivals. East Tennessee PBS Chris Smith shows us how she uses local ingredients and changes her pies seasonally.
My name is Dale Mackey, and I just opened up Dale's Fried Pies, which is a mobile pie stand selling fried pies of all different kinds. For a long time, I've wanted to do sort of a creative food business of my own, and I've always liked food businesses that really perfect one type of food and do it really well. And fried pies were interesting to me, one, because they are a regional sort of local food that a lot of people in the South ate growing up. So there's a lot of nostalgia around it. People have really good memories of them. Of course, they're also delicious. But also because, there's so much room for creativity within them because you can fill them with basically whatever you want. So that kind of combination of things made me interested in them. And then I started cooking them a lot and got really good at it and thought I'd try to make it into a business. I've always enjoyed cooking. I've always enjoyed baking of all different kinds. Ever since I was a little kid, my mom really loved to cook as well, and I would, watch her cook, and she made a lot of pies too. And my godmother, who sort of took care of me when I was a little kid instead of me going to daycare, is from Kentucky, and so she would cook a lot of Southern food. I didn't really necessarily realize it was Southern food until I moved to the South, and then I started saying, oh, this is exactly what my godmother made me when I was a little kid. I really like whenever I'm in a place to try to, understand the food traditions and what kind of food is available and what kind of food people grew up eating, so it's sort of a natural thing. It seems like every other person that I sell a pie to, their mom or their grandma made fried pies for them when they were little. A lot of people have really positive memories attached to them. People seem to really, really enjoy them and be really intrigued about it. I wanted to do a mobile pie stand because to open up a full brick and mortar restaurant when you've never done that before is quite a large undertaking, and I didn't really have the experience or the capital to do that. So I thought I would start small, sort of see how it went, see where it went and what kind of response I got, and go from there. I considered buying just a regular, outfitted food truck. But again, I really wanted to start as small as possible. I said, what is, the least amount of money really that I can put in and start a business so that, I'm kind of free to do what I want. I'm not hampered by tons of debt right from the beginning. So I found online little plans to make a kids lemonade stand. And so we just took those plans and scaled them up and built what is basically an adult-sized sort of lemonade stand looking thing, and did some modifications so that I could fry the pies on site on the stand or just, prepare them in a different kitchen and sell them. I've always really enjoyed making things, and I've always really enjoyed, thinking about how things will look. And that was a big fun part about starting this off, is sort of what feel did I want it to have. And I really wanted it to have the feel of like a roadside stand. Where you're passing by and you see boiled peanuts or apples, things like that. Well, to make a fried pie, you basically start with pie dough. So I make my own pie dough. You roll it out into a little sort of circle, and then whatever kind of filling you want to use, you put it in there and crimp it shut, and then it's deep fried. So there is a lot of variation in terms of what you can put in the pie. The traditional ones are apple and peach. Those are the ones that most people ask for most of the time. I don't have peach in the wintertime because there aren't good peaches available. You can dry peaches and do it that way, and that's a good way to do it. But I really like to have the pie flavors follow the season. So what's available, what's good, just tastes better in a pie. So in the summertime, there's a lot more sort of berry pies, there's a lot more fresh fruit pies, whereas then in the wintertime, I transition more to, I do a lot of sweet potatoes, there's a lot of that kind of thing available, a lot of pumpkins, squashes, things that are available then. One of the interesting things about having a mobile food business is that you're doing this thing that is very traditional, making these traditional fried pies that people have been eating for years and years and years. But then you're combining it with modern technology to be able to connect with the people who are your customers. Because when you have a mobile food business, you can't say, this is where I am, show it to them on a map, you can always come here, here are the hours. the hours often vary and where you are really varies. So you have to have a more dynamic way of interacting with people and sort of an ever-changing way of interacting and connecting with people who want your pies. So I don't do any kind of traditional advertising at all. The only way that people really know about me is word of mouth or from social media. So if I'm going out for an event, I'll post it on Facebook, I'll post it on Twitter, I'll take a picture and put that on Instagram and try to just let as many people as possible know where I'm gonna be that day. But when I get people coming to the stand who say that they are coming to a place just to get the pies, it's always that they've heard about it on some form of social media. So it's really interesting. It's a really different way than a traditional restaurant of being able to connect with people and what's going on. I can post what kind of pies I'll have there that day, so someone can go online and say, no, I don't really want any of those flavors. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite one, so I'm definitely gonna go to where she is right now. I've had people be downtown and look on Twitter, see that I'm right around the corner, and just show up because they happen to be there, which is pretty awesome. Every time I go out, I feel like, I get more people coming by, more people who already know. I get more people who are repeating, they're seeking me out. I am selling as many pies as I can make, or I'm making as many pies. I'm really, at this point, just kind of running to keep up.
Three Forks Cattle is the love child of Brad Smith and Tracy Beatty, who both had commercial cow herd backgrounds, decided to marry, and open a farm specializing in raising and humanely processing beef and poultry. WCTE's Daniel Duarte traveled to Pall Mall and Fentress County to learn more about Three Forks Cattle.
Hi, my name is Brad Smith, and this is my wife,
Tracy Smith. We're with Three Forks Farms. We're here on our farm in Pall Mall, Tennessee. It's a valley north of Jamestown. We raise beef and chicken on pasture with no added antibiotics, hormones, steroids. We do not manipulate their light cycles or life cycles in any way. We just let them graze and free range as close to nature as is possible.
Yeah, after graduating college, we had spent several years in animal science. We decided to use that knowledge on our own farm to increase the productivity. We started with the registered herd of cattle and selling herd bulls and replacement heifers to local commercial cattlemen. And then having the economy take a downturn, we were left with more and more cattle not being sold. And as a side note, we had more and more people wanting beef. And then as the economy got a little bit worse, we had people not only wanting just whole beef or half beef, but just wanting a few particular cuts. And at the time, we didn't have the ability to do that. And then we got with USDA and some other officials and made that happen, where we can have just ground beef sold or ribeye steak sold, and we still do the whole or half beef amounts if people want that. And then, but going to local farmers markets and things, we had people asking us about other meats besides the beef. And then that's when we got the idea for the chicken being raised, outdoors, free range, and being processed on our own farm. And that's how that came about.
This is a very sustainable product. I feel like we have a very low impact on the environment. The chickens here can be here this month. Next month, if they're gone, there's no trace of them. You might find a feather here and there in the grass, but otherwise you're just gonna have green grass because the chickens have fertilized the grass as they are moved in the tractors along the grass, where we move them every day. They are putting their natural fertilizer droppings all over the grass, and then we graze cattle in the same area. So the cattle benefit from the nitrogen, which helps the grass to grow, and the cattle harvest that grass, and there's just a very small footprint.
We usually get the birds anywhere from maybe 2 to 3 days old. And when we get those in, we have already a stall in the barn, a pretty good sized stall set up with fresh bedding, water and feed and heat lamps. That way they get into their nice cozy environment. And they'll stay there for about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And then we transition them from a smaller stall that they originally are in to a larger stall. And they'll be there up to 4, maybe 5 weeks of age. And then they get transitioned outside into the tents that you see.
When they're moved outside, they're on fresh grass, and the UV light kills a lot of the bacteria that would affect them. So we move the tents every day, and that keeps them in a good, clean environment. They can pick grass, they can eat bugs, and do things that make chickens happy. So I would like people to think about the value of shopping locally. It's a value for your family because the products are fresh, they're sustainable, the quality is excellent because of the way the product is produced. It's very tasty and healthy, and there's also value in supporting local businesses because it helps your community. When you buy from a local farm, you're supporting a mom and a dad and kids. You are actually funding girls going to dance camp and little boys having karate lessons and things like that that go back into another local business. Farming is not just about the animals. It's not just about a tractor or a crop. It's more about a legacy. And to me, that legacy represents leaving the next generation better off than you are in different ways. More educated, more diverse, more environmentally conscious, more sustainable. So it was very important for us to come back home and bring that knowledge with us and that desire to impart that into this area as well as into our own family. It was very important for us to share that with our children and other children and adults in this area.
In our family, we have a daughter that's the oldest and our son's the youngest, and they get real excited in the summertime when we are getting the chicks in. They'll get in the truck with us and get the chicks, and then when we get them here to the barn, they love unloading the chicks and then placing them out of the box into the shavings, and then they'll come out and help feed and look after them, make sure the temperature's right, and then when it comes time to get them out of the barn and into the field, they'll help by grabbing them up and holding them and petting them and putting them in the tents or taking them outside. They really like that.
Cows and horses, that's all. And chickens and Darby.
Darby's your red heeler?
He's my puppy. And the chickens and the roosters, they're over there in the back. You can go see them in a minute. They're funny.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Live Green Tennessee, where we take you all across the state into the farms and businesses of those who are making the move to eating fresh, living sustainably, and helping us all be more organic in our thinking and the way we live our lives as Tennesseans. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Live Green Tennessee.
If you would like more information about Live Green Tennessee, please visit our website at livegreentv.org, where you can find everything from healthy recipes to past episodes and more.
Pick Tennessee helps you find local farms and farmers markets, plus offers tips for choosing, using, and storing the fresh foods you buy. The Pick Tennessee mobile app is available now on iTunes and Google Play.
Radon gas is a naturally occurring radioactive gas found in rock and soil and can seep into your home through basements or cellars. It's odorless, invisible, and without taste, and can damage lung tissue and cause the beginning of lung cancer, making it the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. It is important to ensure your home is safe with a free radon test kit. The Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation can help you learn more about this dangerous gas and make your home a safer place.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.